Hi everybody, hello and welcome back. It's Friday afternoon. I was going to say morning, it feels like morning to me, but it's almost 12:30 on Friday the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day. Not that has any bearing on anything. Today we are going to be looking through the Timmy window. Excellent. Right, that's enough stupidity. Let's get on. This is just a piece of paper, a piece of that cream paper that I use. I think it's 160 GSM, the Adagio stuff, which I use for pretty much everything. And I've cut this larger than my tag. I've cut it at 8 by 4.5. Just so it's a bit larger, and you'll see why in a sec. And I'm going to, what do you call this? Score. Yes, score at every 1/2 inch along there. So you don't need to make massive score lines, just once down will be fine. I can't see where I'm supposed to be scoring. There we go. And right, so I've got my piece of paper. There you go, you can see all the scores in it there. Like that. Okay. Marvellous. So, next thing we're going to do is do our wood grain trick. You've seen me do this before, but I'm going to give it another go. So I've got my inky board out. My breadboard from the pound shop, but it sounds better if you call it an inky board. I can't remember which side I used. This side's got some inky marks on, but that won't matter. Right, so for my wood grain I'm using brushed corduroy and scattered straw. You can use any colour you like, but use one lighter shade and one darker. So I'm going to start off with the scattered straw. It's an oxide. And I'm just holding it there's level, and I'm just holding it up a little bit. And I'm dragging this down. Like that. Possibly needs another little bit there. We can come back later and put more on it, if more is required. So that's that. So you can see if you start in the middle you get a horrible line, but I've done it, so I've done it. So this brushed corduroy, I'm hoping it's going to be the shade I want it to be, but time will tell. Don't know if that's dark enough actually. Might be. So I'm just going to turn this around and start from the other side. I'm not altogether convinced that's dark enough, so I'm going to get something like, not too dark, but something like vintage photo or something along those lines. Let's see what I've got. Vintage photo. They're always in the last pile, aren't they, the inks you're looking for? Right, so let's try this. Yeah, I think that's better. Darken it down a little bit. Turn it round. I think that looks all right. Looks like wood grain to me. And that's all that matters, really. I'd like it to look like wood grain to you, but you know, if it doesn't, I'm just going to blame the camera. So there we have it. A good little tip. And the lines that you score in seem to absorb more glue, I nearly said, more ink. So you get this sort of like planked. Yes, that's a good word. Planked. Right, so I'm now going to cut this down to size, and I think I'll cut a little bit off each end just to get rid of those heavier marks. So let's make a mark there, and I want it overall to be 7 inches, and a mark there, so trim those off. Because when you start and stop, you sort of get heavier bits. It might be that you like those bits, that you think it makes it look more authentic, and that's fine. There we are, and I'm going to cut it down to 3 3/4. Let's cut that there. 3 3/4. See if I can get it straight, would be helpful. So, have any of you purchased the new Timmy trimmer? Do tell if you have, I'm dying to know what it's like. So there we are. Now then, I'm going to build up a thing. I'd call it is a collage because it's various bits of stuff, but this is going to be at the centre of it. This is one of Timmy's snapshots, and I'm going to mess around with it a little bit. Then I've got this little bit of black lace, which actually is a bit stretchy. Don't know what it was intended for, but it's going on here. I've got some of this, which is very loose weave, linen-y stuff. And I've got a remnant of Timmy fabric. So they're all going to go on here. Just like that. Right, so what I want to do first is, let's prepare this. So I'm going to get my decollage trimmer out. Should you not have a decollage trimmer, just tear it. Blimey, this hasn't seen the light of day for a while. It's a bit dusty. I'll dust that off. And I'm just going to take the edge off. Not too much on that one because it says the date, which is February 1927. There we go. Sorry about the noise. It is noisy, the decollage trimmer, definitely. But that's given us a really nice, almost tone edge, but with none of the fuss. Right, so I'm going to ink it. Now, I could use VersaFine. I could. Or I could do that trick Judy was talking about that I've done before. Just get an emery board. Ooh, new emery board in this case. And just sand the edges so it'll take the ink. So you don't have to do much, just a little bit around the edge. Otherwise it won't take the distress ink, it won't dry on it. Let's try that. That should be enough, I think. Put my emery board away, otherwise I'll get lost on this table forever. So my distress ink and walnut stain, my dauber. Yeah, that's fine. That's doing well. So it just gets rid of that layer on the top that's so shiny you can't get anything to stick to it. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That's fine. That's all I need. Now the next thing I'm going to do is stick it onto here, and the reason I'm doing that is this is such loose weave, it wants to just shift all the time. So I'm going to stick this on here before I cut it out. That's the kind of best way, and I'm going to try and follow one of the lines of weave up there if I possibly can. So I'm going to use my collage And you don't need masses. You do need some, however, obviously. There we go. So I'm just going to lay that on there. Just try and follow one of those lines like that. That's great. Press that down thoroughly. There we go. And now I can trim it off, but I'll just leave it to dry a second. I just want to do some stitching around here. So my sewing machine's over there, so I'll just pause you for a sec and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've stitched around there. As you can see, it just makes it look a bit more alive. Let me find my little scissors and trim the ends off. I'm going to leave some ends, about an inch or so, but not on the back. I'm just going to trim them straight off. Like so. Right, so now we can deal with this. It's not going to move now, it's glued down, it's stitched down, so we can trim off the excess. And I'm going to leave just a little more than 1/4 of an inch. Something like that. Don't worry if it's not ultra straight. Probably look better, to be honest, if it's not. There we go. Now what I want to do is take away all of the threads in it, so I'm just left with a bit sticking out. I might leave one. So because we've got the weave quite straight when we did it, it works out okay. If you don't have the weave straight, it'll be going under your picture where you've glued and you won't be able to pull the threads out. So it's worth just taking that extra minute just to get it sort of straight on the weave. So that is going to go there, like so, our two lovely ladies. And then under that, I'm going to put a piece of this Timmy fabric and a piece of this lace. Like so. That's going to go there like that. Well, that's kind of the plan anyway. So let's stick the fabric down first. I'm going to use collage. And I just want it about there. So I'm going to make a mark, pencil mark, just along there where I want the glue to be. So you don't need a lot of glue, just a little bit, and then unfortunately you have to spread it out with your finger, which is horrible. Yeah, I hate it. And then I'm going to put that just over the edge, just a touch, and then follow that line. Try not to stretch your fabric too much because it will bow this paper. That's lovely, I think. Just a little bit more glue down at the bottom. Doesn't really matter, you could leave it loose if you wanted. There we go. Oh, I just adore that Timmy fabric. I love it so much. I don't know if I can fray that out a bit there. No, maybe cut it off, I don't know. Let's cut that one off at about the same. Can I tear that? Will it let me tear it? No. I don't know what Catkin's talking about. He's been out all morning. He's been out looking round because it's much milder here today. It's 12 degrees, which is incredible when you consider the other day all that snow and stuff that we had. So I'm going to stick this lace on here. So I want it about there. So let's put the glue down. Now be careful, it's lace. It won't stand much glue, it'll just come through it. So I'm just putting a bit down the edge, a bit along the top, then I'm going to just mess about with my finger. So it's just a very thin coating of glue. Now this does have some elasticity to it, so you want to just make sure that you're not pulling it too tight, because your card will end up bowed in at the sides. So that should be okay. I think we've got enough glue there. I'm just gonna use my EVA and just stick that down the side there, and then stick the lace down there. That should be okay. Dries clear, so we'll be fine. And just a little bit down this side, and a little bit down there. Right, so that's all that stuck on. Fabulous. So the next thing to stick on is this. Come off. Which is going to go about there, I think. Yeah, right there. Now, I'm debating with myself, as I often do. I have huge debates with myself. Yeah, the debate today, the debate du jour is, should I put on that red arrow and this red number 5? I quite like the idea. I can't even pick it up, but I like the idea. Let me get my tweezers out. Yeah, I just like it. It means absolutely nothing. I just like it. So, yeah, I think I will do that. But I'll stick it down first. So, this is pretty much, it's coming together really quickly, this actually. So add your glue to the back of that burlappy sort of stuff. This is, I wouldn't really call this burlap or hessian. It's linen and it's very fine. And I bought at one stage years ago, years and years ago actually, I bought a whole bolt of it. So I've got lots to use up. So I just want that to cover where the start of the fabric is and fairly central. So about there. Yeah, lovely. Lovely. Just make sure that that's down. Collage glues fabric really well, so I'm not anticipating any problem with it. Glued everything to my glass mat. Testament to how good it is, isn't it? Right, so there we go. So yeah, I am going to put on that arrow and that number 5. Not for any reason other than it pleases me to do so. So that's way too much glue, so I'm just going to take my finger, wipe quite a lot of that off. Wait, don't fall. Put that there, and I want it kind of pointing towards this lady. That's Catkin crying because I think he wants to go out again. Because he came in, he's been playing with all his toys, and now he's bored with all his toys and he wants to go outside. He's a funny little fella. And this number 5 looks like it's bent over, but it'll, whoa, come back. But it'll be all right, be fine. There we go. Just wipe off the excess glue, and I'm just, ooh, got a bit stuck to it. I'm just going to put that there. You obviously do not have to add that. I just like it. So there we go. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is add this. Now, I can't remember, and I put it back in the drawer now, what this came at. It's a Timmy thingy. Industrial tags, industrial something, I can't remember. But what I'm going to do is take my picket fence distress crayon and just work it into those numbers and the edge. Like that. Get it right down into them. There we go. I think that's all right. And then I'm just going to wipe off the excess, hopefully, says she. So I'm going to start with a dry cloth and see if that will do it. You generally need something a bit damper than that, but we'll give it a try. Oh no, it's coming away nicely. So it just wipes off the stuff that's flush, and it leaves the other stuff in the engravings, and it does look really nice. I meant to do it on the ones that we did yesterday, but completely forgotten. Then someone kindly pointed it out to me in the comments. Thank you very much. So yeah, there we are. Let me just show you that. So the picket fence just stays in the engraved part, and it looks lovely. So there we have that. So I want to sew that on, and I want to sew it on just, well, we've still got just the paper, not the card, and then you won't see it. So let's get my needle and thread. I use crochet perle, crochet cotton, whatever. And I don't use any specific needle. I just know that this needle will accept this crochet cotton. That's the only reason that I'm using it. Not because it's long or sharp or anything like that. It just works. So I want that to go kind of there in the corner. So I'm going to make a hole with my pokey tool. There's quite a few layers now to go through. So that's that. So I'm going to come from the back up through that hole we've just made, through the hole in the roundel, whatever it is. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? I'm going to have to rethink that. Yeah, I think I need to go from the front to the back. And come out another hole. Yes, I think so. Let's make another little hole. Quite close to the other little hole. Yeah, I think that'll work. So in from the front, in through one of those holes. Then up through the other little hole and back up through there, through the hole in the... Ow, it is sharp, that needle. So there we have it. That's going to be fine because it's anchored on the back. So I'm just going to tie that off. I think that's the thing to do. Oh, it's all tension, isn't it? Come on. Right, so I should be able to slide that right up to the end, I think. Pretty much so, that's fine, I'm alright with that. Yeah. Oh no, it can come through that hole. I'm going to have to make another knot. I don't want it coming off. That's alright, it's not coming off there now. Phew. Trim my ends off. Let's put that away. That's dangerous. It stabbed me. So there we have it. We've got that in place. Yes, yes, yes. Everything's okay. I'll see about trimming these up. I think I should just trim them off. Let's just trim them off. There we go. Let's pop that away. Let's give that another little shine. That's better. Right, so now we need to stick it onto our cream card that we always use. Here, so just stick that on. You can see I've been making a prototype. There's a tag-shaped hole left in the card, which I shall show you soon. It's not in Timmy style, it's in pretty style. There we go. Oh, I quite like that, it's nice. Right, so let's trim that out. Lovely. And then let's cut our tag corners in. Lovely. It looks nice, doesn't it? I like it. So I just need something for the top. So I was thinking that I might use a piece of this fabric for the top and make a tab with it. I quite like that idea. So I'm just going to... I don't think I can tear this. It doesn't... No, it doesn't want to let me tear it that way. So I'll just cut that off. And I'll glue that on there and on the back. So let's see where the centre is. It's about there. So I am going to sew around this, so I'm not altogether too worried about how well it's affixed. There we go, and stick it onto the back. It's just easier if it's stuck down a little bit before you stitch it, otherwise you're chasing it everywhere. There we go. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Got some threads hanging about. There we go. So all I'm going to do now is just stitch around the entire thing. So I'll just pause you there. So there we have it. There's the tag all sewn around. I think this sort of tag does benefit from being sewn around. I just prefer it visually. So there we have it. I've trimmed the things off, but I've left little tails. So that's the Timmy version. I hope you like it. And this is the pretty version. So there we have it. Oh, here comes Mr. F with a piece of white card, so I can show them off. There we go. So it's up to you really which side of the fence you sit on. I prefer this one. I'm sure many of you prefer that one. Some of you probably don't like any at all. That was just some of that paper that I got from AliExpress. I used the same thing, that lightweight burlap behind it. I used a button on there, just a remnant of fabric, but I did actually stick some sequins on it. They were sitting on my desk. They've been on my desk for ages. And I thought, oh, hang on, they're the right colour. I'm going to stick some of those on. So that's it. Those are our two options for today. I really do hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you're enjoying the series. I certainly am. There's a long way to go. Very long way to go. But, you know, we're just plodding away, aren't we? Getting there, having fun. So I'll see you again, hopefully tomorrow. Bye, guys.